Hello, and welcome to our lesson on legal and contractual management. This segment will cover long-term contracts in alliances and partnerships. Industrial buying contracts are categorized based on contract term length. Spot contracts involve one-time or limited purchases without intending a lasting supplier relationship. Short-term contracts involve routine purchases over a limited time, usually a year or less. Long-term contracts entail ongoing purchases for a specified or indefinite period, typically exceeding a year. Given their extensive commitments, long-term contract terms require meticulous development. While our focus here is primarily on long-term contracts, many discussed considerations apply to shorter-term agreements. Most buyer-seller relationships operate under a contract, whether explicit or implied. Even without a formal agreement, transactions often fall under the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, acting as a gap filler. Long-term contracts, spanning more than a year, outline specific objectives such as pricing, delivery terms, quality standards, productivity enhancements, cost-saving mechanisms, risk allocation, conflict resolution, and termination clauses. Given their increasing prevalence, it's crucial to explore the attributes, advantages, and risks associated with long-term contracts. Why opt for a long-term contract? Essentially, it signifies a deeper commitment from the supplier and offers opportunities for mutual value creation. Such contracts facilitate the sharing of information, risks, schedules, costs, and resources, fostering joint value. Moreover, they serve as a comprehensive guide for the buyer-supplier relationship, covering aspects like initial pricing, price adjustments, cost reduction expectations, intellectual property rights, currency fluctuations, and other responsibilities. There are many reasons why both buyers and suppliers would want to consider a long-term contract. Assurance of supply. Considering a long-term contract offers buyers reduced risk compared to shorter-term contracts. Through a clearly defined and mutually beneficial agreement, buyers secure a consistent supply. Access to supplier technology. Long-term contracts offer buyers exclusive access to supplier technology, granting them a temporary competitive edge by blocking competitors' access. By securing suppliers early in a new or significantly improved technology's lifecycle, buyers can establish a first-mover advantage. However, there's a risk of choosing the wrong technology and forfeiting the anticipated competitive edge. Access to cost-price information. Accessing detailed cost and price information is often a perk of long-term contracts. Suppliers are motivated to enhance their processes under such contracts, spreading fixed costs over larger volumes. These contracts should include incentives for supplier improvements, with cost-sharing agreements that reward both parties. This collaboration can lead to better quality and reduced costs, with explicit terms for sharing savings, rather than assuming a 50-50 split. Volume leveraging. Developing long-term contracts offers the buyer significant leverage to compel the supplier to ramp up performance improvements. Through multi-year agreements, buyers can demand accelerated progress along the learning curve, prompting suppliers to swiftly pass on cost savings. This enhanced performance stems from increased capital investment, quicker learning curve advancements, and heightened supplier commitment. Long-term contracts with incentives capitalize on the notion that as purchase volumes rise, cost structures change. They establish productivity improvement targets and facilitate cost savings sharing between buyer and seller. In cases where suppliers withhold cost data, developing cost models based on industry-standard material-labor ratios can bolster the buyer's negotiating position. Supplier receives better information for planning. Long-term contracts provide suppliers with enhanced scheduling information, leading to increased production efficiency and better materials planning. This clarity in production schedules enables purchasing departments to procure materials in bulk, securing volume discounts. Furthermore, detailed volume and delivery projections aid in financial planning, allowing suppliers to allocate funds more effectively and reduce unit costs by spreading fixed expenses across a larger output. Additionally, long-term contracts reduce administrative costs as suppliers spend less time seeking replacement volume. Before committing to a long-term contract, both buyer and seller should assess several risks through three key questions. What's the likelihood of opportunistic behavior from either party? In other words, how likely is the supplier to take advantage of the purchaser, or vice versa? Is this supplier suitable for a long-term partnership? Do the terms ensure a balanced sharing of risks and rewards? The potential disadvantages of long-term contracts are the following. Supplier opportunism. Buyers face the risk of suppliers becoming complacent over time, leading to declining performance in areas like pricing, quality, delivery, technology, and efficiency. To counter this, buyers should include effective incentive clauses in contracts to ensure sustained supplier motivation and performance throughout the agreement. Selecting the wrong supplier. Long-term contracts carry the risk of overlooking superior suppliers. Buyers must thoroughly research suppliers' performance, capabilities, financial stability, technology plans, and commitment. Once committed, changing suppliers becomes costly and challenging. Prior investment in research is vital for a successful long-term contract. Supplier volume uncertainty. For success, a solid long-term contract should address both parties' needs. Buyers must consider volume uncertainties from the supplier's perspective, especially with new products or customers. Despite projected purchase levels, various factors like overestimation, lack of marketability of the end item, competition, and regulatory changes can hinder actual volume attainment. Additionally, if the supplied item is in a mature or declining phase, expecting volume growth in such contracts is often unrealistic. Supplier forgoes other business. Signing a long-term contract restricting a supplier from serving the buyer's competitors can hinder profitable opportunities. Committing to one customer's demands may limit capacity for future profitable ventures with other clients, especially in industries nearing full capacity. Buyer is unreasonable. The supplier should anticipate the possibility of the buyer making unexpected demands post-contract, which could incur additional costs not covered by the agreement. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall discuss contingency elements of long-term contracts. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.